The following program may contain strong language. All of the comments and opinions expressed do not reflect the views of anyone but those making said comments. If you decide to continue listening to this program, it is assumed that you are not easily offended and have a broad sense of humor. Now that all that's out of the way, enjoy! Like this. Okay.
Every time.
Of course, we got to do it every time. Hi, everybody. It's the Mike and Billy Show with you. Number 21.
21.
We are officially legal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bring me the beer.
We should have done a drinking show tonight.
Come on, man.
Look out, man. It is Mike Wendt
and Billy Finnegan.
And I'm rested. Billy's falling asleep in the chair, but I'm gonna hang tight.
I'm gonna hey.
I'm gonna keep it going, man. Look out, man.
There you go. That's all I need. I just need a karate chop to the clavicle.
I'm gonna give him a karate chop. You're never gonna get up, baby.
I'm the king, baby.
Only 2,000 people know karate. Chinese and the king. For those who don't know what the hell we're talking
and
about.
One of them's me. No, let him sit.
Let him sit
on it.
We don't have to explain every joke.
No.
A little inside joke, just for me and Billy here. And Sergeant Lou's obviously going to laugh his ass off when he listens to this.
The king, baby.
2,000 people, the Chinese and the king. One of them's me.
I'm the king.
Look out, man. You got to do a chop with it when you say it.
It's just so liberating. It's actually waking me up after, every time I just, come on, man. Let me hammer. Hey.
It's like it's a new version of hitting the bumps on the fucking the road.
Oh, the Raver Savers?
Yeah. The Raver Savers.
The Raver Savers.
I have never heard them called that.
My buddy, I heard him call it one time. We were driving back from Connecticut after doing a show, and I think we were either doing something like, smoking cigarettes or
watching Captain Kangaroo.
Yeah, or whatever we were doing. I might have been driving. I might have been tired. Anyway, somehow, you're driving and you kind of you have that slow drift. You're still paying attention to the road, but you have that slow drift, and then you hear the bumps, the speed bumps there. And he goes, "Oh, Raver Saver." And I went, "What did you just say?"
Raver Savers.
Raver Savers.
Go on.
It's those kids that are coming out of the raves at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, and they're, the drugs have just worn off. They have finally worn off, and you're going back home, and you're kind of nodding off a little bit after a night of
some smelling salt.
After a night of listening to Skrillex for 8 hours.
We did this last week, didn't we? Oh God.
The whole time and letting the beat drop.
Sure.
You hit those savers, man. It wakes you right up. Raver Savers, baby. Go to the next rave. Here we go.
Oh.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Look out, man. So yes, those are the Raver Savers, apparently.
Yeah.
How you doing? I can see you're tired, but
I'm well.
Just you're well.
Yeah.
Things are going okay.
Yeah.
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 How's your week?
Week's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you deliberately being a dick right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Someone's got to be a heel.
All right. Fuck you.
No, the week's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. And you just got back from Montreal.
I did.
Hanging out with them Habs.
Yeah. Good time. Terrible game.
Well, it's okay.
Terrible game. But luckily, it wasn't just a terrible game on the Bruins side. It was just a bad game all around.
I watched it. It was shit.
The 3 goals that got were very fluky. So it kind of it made for a very festive atmosphere. I mean, we were up in the drunk section anyway. Literally the Molson section of the building. And which brilliant marketing. You
for the Molson section.
You brand.
I think that's
an entire
great.
section around the beer sponsor, and they get little 20-year-old hard bodies in skin tight suits with tambourines, getting the whole crowd fired up the entire game.
Really?
They go to commercial break. Nothing's going on the ice. Those girls are fucking jumping around. They're throwing out T-shirts. They're giving beer coupons.
So they do that. Do they do that instead of Ice Girls?
No, they have ice girls on the ice. This is just and it's like an upper deck section. It's like the furthest back section.
When you because you've gone up to Montreal a bunch of times, do you always get tickets there?
Absolutely.
You do.
It's just fun. So and they're the cheapest tickets.
Okay.
Our tickets were only like I think $55, $60, something like that.
So you get it's a show within a show.
It absolutely is, and it's like it's like a big party up
because
there.
we don't do that here in Boston.
No,
but that's I'm surprised because I've never heard of this.
They have beer guys going through the crowd.
Yeah,
which they don't.
That doesn't happen
you have
down
to,
here.
you know. I mean, granted.
We want pretzels.
Yeah, they just like at the ball game. They have the guys going up and down the aisles with the beers and the peanuts and all that shit.
But see, to me, that's got to be difficult here, especially with, because what are you gonna do? You're gonna have to pass your fucking ID down the aisle, and it's like, all right, looks like it checks out, Miguel. You know what I mean?
I don't want to get them in trouble at all, but
no, I know.
I don't remember them checking.
But maybe do they just do it in the Molson?
I think so. Because I've sat in one other section of the building and I don't remember them doing that. So I think it might just be that section.
But see, that certainly makes it that much better, and especially because it's probably because what you're
down the concourse, they got a band.
But they're not like the greatest seats, right? They're not nosebleed, but they're kind of in between. So,
yeah, I mean,
so you're given a little something there. Plus
you
the fact
see
that
the whole ice.
It's sort of like a luxury box feel, but it's cheaper than a luxury. That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, it was. I like it. And yeah, I mean, during the intermissions, you go out into the concourse and there's like some band and more chicks dancing around, and it's very festive. It's a very festive atmosphere.
Did they get these hard bodies from some of the gentlemen clubs?
You would like to think so. Night off type of thing.
That would be. Yeah, it's like, well. Candy, can you work tonight? No, sorry. I gotta go. I gotta go to the Molson
Habs game.
The Habs are in town, so
right.
I gotta go be the Molson girl.
Candy, of course. But yeah, very very festive, and the shittiness of the game Saturday night definitely provided for more. It was more of just a low key because nobody's team was doing good.
Right.
So everybody was just shitting on everything. I
like that better,
it was more ribbing than fucking really like fuck you. It's like nobody's doing good.
But I like
you
that.
You guys suck too.
I like that better though because it's like instead you all can band together as fans of the game and just completely crap on what's happening.
And it was just a lot of shitting on everybody. It was shitting on ourselves, shitting on each other, shitting on the team. Everything.
So that makes up for a pretty good.
It was, and it was definitely a fun trip. It was. I'm trying to think.
So you tweeted out, by the way, on your way back.
Yeah.
You tweeted out a picture. Were you out of the car?
I rolled the window down.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were trying to smuggle Candy or whatever her name was back in the trunk, and I thought they had pulled you over, and you had just tweeted because it's like. You're at the border. What are you doing out of the car?
Yeah. No, it was bizarre.
I was trying to get some Labatt's back in the country.
The line getting back into the U.S. at the border was retarded long, like very uncharacteristically long. And the border is like there's an actual physical visual, like you can visually see the border.
Yeah.
Like there's that post, the picture I tweeted.
Well, because I'd never been up to Canada, but to see the post there,
and it says international border. On one side it says Canada, the other side it says United States.
So awesome.
And if you look, they have literally the line of the border mowed.
Oh, really?
So if you look down, I'll see if I can pull a picture up in a second. But if you look down,
do like the Canadians they only maintain the Canada grass, and then the U.S. only does it, and it's like all grass is better than yours, and
of course.
And then
you knock down the trees so you can see all the way straight through down the border.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, here, all the way down. That's the actual border. See what I mean? Yeah. It's like that on this side of the post it says Canada, on this side it says United States, and then there's just a mowed path where the actual border is.
It looks like our side needs a little bit of upkeep.
Yeah,
I think a
little bit of laying in the weeds.
I think we got to go over to Home Depot and see if there's any landscapers over there. Right as I get into my right wing Republican mix. And then we could just deport
that's
them.
The view from the seats, so it's not bad. You can see the whole fucking ice.
Very cool.
No,
that looks like you're watching one of those tabletop hockey games. Like that's what it looks like. It looks like you're actually in, like all you would need is like two big giants on either side, just hitting the flippers
yeah.
and just like that's pretty cool.
Mm. So it was a good time.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, it was a good time. And it's funny, I before the game, I ran into a couple of Bruins executives at one of the finer establishments in Montreal.
Really?
Yeah, and one of them I know just from crossing paths at different parties.
Blackmail.
And it was so funny because he's walking towards me. And not walking towards me, but walking in the direction that I was facing.
Right.
And I see him, and I'm like, hey! I reach my arm out, and you can just see, he's like, oh, shit. It, like, clicked that he knew. He didn't remember me, but knew, like, enough that I had crossed paths with him before. He's like, oh, hey, how you doing? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do radio at another show.
Yeah, I thought this was a bed and breakfast.
Meeting some people, and I turn around, and there's a few other recognizable faces back there. I'm like, good for you guys.
And then this giant 6'9" guy gets up and it's like, oh, gee, I wonder who that is.
No, the players were definitely not in the building at that point. But
no, that's right, because Candy and the rest of the girls went to the players.
Right. They have them shipped over right to the Bell Center. And
they put him in Mike's car.
Yeah.
And that's why he got stopped at the border.
Stopped at the border, yeah. No, we didn't actually this time. They were very, very cordial with us, despite Sergeant Lou's little sarcastic remark. What's your business in Canada? We're going to watch the Bruins beat the Habs. And he said it just like that.
You know, the funny thing is,
I'm just like, where can I get ass raped?
You know what? The funny thing is, though, is that he's probably not the only one that said that.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Especially that day.
Like it was, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, your car pulls up. We're going to watch the Bruins beat the Habs. All right, move along, and then the next car comes up. We're gonna go watch the fucking Bruins beat the Habs, and then like next car rolls up.
Yeah,
fuck the Habs. You know.
When you think about it, we were probably the nicest she had seen all afternoon.
Probably.
But yeah, very very quick and through, which I always enjoy. I hate the 2-hour layover at the border
when it turns into the Walmart of borders.
Oh God, it's just like we've been brought in, we've been detained for hours, literally. Multiple hours at a time over nothings, like just having them sit there and search the car, and there's nothing in the car. There's literally one bag per person of clothes.
I think the best story you had told me was the headphones.
These headphones on my head actually. Why are you traveling with these headphones? Well, I work in radio, and I mean I could have just completely washed it with saying to listen to music with. I explained them like I work in radio and I keep my headphones in the backseat of my car, and that's why they're there. But why are you traveling with them? I'm like, they're not going to blow up, asshole. You know? And this is an answer always given is, are you planning on bringing anything back with you? I hope not.
I'd like to stay healthy.
I'll send you the doctor's report when I get back.
Well, I don't know. You guys get that free health care up here, right?
Right.
I might feel like catching something up here, you know?
I really can't fathom a reason why they would ever turn us away.
Well, if you had dead bodies.
Yeah.
Well, they might not. If you had dead bodies, they'd probably detain you and wait for the U.S.
Sign a couple documents and just go ahead. Enjoy the game.
Have fun.
Acknowledge that they're your dead bodies and you're going to bring them back with you at the end of the trip.
We'll see you when we get back. When you get back here.
Right. But
we'll just hold these for you.
But yeah, I've only had like 2 or 3 really rough run-ins at the border. I know we talked about this before, but it's
Border Patrol.
They just
be honest, are they Mounties when they're there?
No.
See, now that would be awesome.
No, they're just immigration. The times we were detained, their line of questioning was so like it was counterproductive. It's like they're questioning us coming to Canada.
Yeah.
It's like at the time it was like there was 3 of us. We told you we're just coming up for a weekend. We're going to go to the hockey game. You drove all the way from Boston to Canada. There's a hockey game up here. Yes, we drove all the way up here. I mean, I'm like, am I the first person to ever do this?
When you figure
am I the first person to ever fucking come to Montreal? I mean, it's not a fucking rare thing.
I understand.
They were looking at they looked at an iPad like it was a fucking WMD. I'm like, it's a fucking iPad. How many children have these things? This isn't a new technology. It just bothered me. Fucking, it's like, there are people out there with chainsaws. Why don't you go fucking stop them, okay? So it was a busy weekend, but fun. It was good because It's really the first weekend in a while I haven't had to work at all. And
luckily, I didn't have to pick up your shifts.
Yeah. Somebody else got those shifts. So
very happy.
Yeah, that was nice. You got sleep. I got a little bit of rest, a little bit. I had like 3 days of drinking, which I haven't done in a while.
Yeah, you're out of shape for that.
I usually, there's the occasional 1 day of drinking.
Right.
I don't normally. I'm done. My bender days are done.
Usually we call that Saturday afternoon, and then I see you Saturday night.
Right. My weekend bender days are pretty much done. And
well, it's a sign of maturity, Mike.
Is it?
Some could say, yeah.
Some could. Okay. Come home. WrestleMania was Sunday, and then so that went on until about almost midnight.
Yeah.
So I was no sleep on that night. All right, good. Up bright and early Monday morning for some more work.
Yeah, saw that.
And then I get home, and just finally, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna finally relax, because you need a vacation from after my vacation a little bit. But
the same people that say that are the same people go, someone's got a case of the Mondays.
Yeah, but there is a little bit of truth to that, because it's like we left Saturday morning at 6 a.m. and we didn't go to sleep until Sunday morning at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So we did a 23-hour burn. So Monday night.
Look out now!
Look out, man! You're going to say, I'm Montreal to make me happy. Look out, man! Karate. But
there's only two people that know karate: the Montrealians
and the king.
And the king.
And one of them's me. But I get home on Monday. I was planning on just a relaxing evening, and then I get the call. You want to go to the Bruins game? And you don't say no to that phone call.
Well, that's like the.
Do you want free tickets to a Bruins game?
Right.
Yeah. So I got my ass up, and literally I'd been awake for maybe an hour. I got home from work. I just laid down, and the phone rings. I'm like, God damn it! What? You want to go Bruins game? Okay.
Oh, all right.
Brighten up my day, so I get myself showered and head on out.
You want to give me a pulled pork sandwich and a blowjob too? This is great.
And,
all right. Hey.
And it got even better because the tickets turned out to be box tickets.
Cool.
So we were in a suite, and there was a handful of people. So it was nice. You could spread out, and you can kick your legs up.
And they're also entertaining clients, so it's, they're talking business matters. They're watching the game, but the main draw for them to be there is to conduct business over the Bruins
It's a
game.
very nice office if you have to conduct business.
Right. It's a luxury office.
So it was...
It's like that scene in Wayne's Row where it's like he opens the door and there's the guys training like a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It's like, hey, step into my office. You want to watch the Bees game? And just open the door and like there's the Bruins playing.
You have the ultimate 3D TV in your office.
Look, this is in smell-o-vision. I can actually smell the vomit of that 18-year-old girl over there.
Sorry, I get tossed at that game though.
That's my daughter.
I'm watching the game, and all of a sudden you hear up from the balcony section an asshole chant break out. So I'm kind of
you have to look.
Pop my head out and start looking, and I see one guy in a Lakers jersey facing away, like his back was to the ice.
Yeah.
So he was facing upward, and there was 4 guys in Bruins jerseys just lording over him, and everybody's screaming. The whole section's fucking assholing him to death. And then you see the security come scurrying up the ramp
because he's about to go over the ledge.
Kicked them all out.
Really?
Just grabbed the whole two rows and booted them.
The whole 2
out.
rows?
They're just like, you're all done. Because everybody was, it looked like a riot was about to break out.
But honestly, if you're the Lakers guy, and I understand.
Why don't you just sit there quietly?
But I'm just saying, you're this guy, okay? And yes, I'm sure alcohol was a factor. And there's such thing as liquid muscles, couple pops, and you think you're fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Know your surroundings.
Sure.
If your back is to the ice and you're looking up at your opposition, sit the fuck back down.
It's not going to end well.
And let it go.
Balcony is a wonderful place for shit like that, though.
The balcony is the great equalizer.
It's amazing the polar opposites of the lower bowl and the upper bowl at a game, and it's like, because I've been to plenty.
It's also the they're the cheaper seats.
The cheaper,
so
which is amazing. Now,
you're gonna get the real fans in there, and you're gonna get there's a lot of assholes up there.
Which is amazing because those cheap seats now cost about $100.
Wow.
So they're not really the cheap seats anymore.
Not everything can be those $10 tickets they had before the season.
But I remember a time me and my brother were at a game against the Sabres. We were way up. We were like third to last row of the building. So a guy, this woman, I use the word woman loosely, was just being mouthy the entire game. Like every time people would cheer, she would be telling them to shut up and sit down. And it wasn't even like she was wearing Buffalo colors or anything. She was just being a cunt. And
there's so much hatred in this.
Game ends, and she started really, really getting obnoxious about it the last like 5 to 10 minutes of the game. And it was a good game. I remember being a very close game where people were up and down at the end of the game.
Right.
And some dude just had enough, and he just started laying into her. You know, just verbally just beating the piss out of her.
Would you say it was a verbal evisceration?
Yes, it was. That's a very good word there.
Thank you.
And she starts giving it right back to him. Fuck you, because, you know, she was feeling strong. She got that woman strong where you can't hit me because I'm a woman.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. You know, because they'll say shit that makes you want to hit them, but you can't hit them because they're a woman. He had his beer cup, and he was holding the bottom of it like this, and it was empty because you could see because they're clear cups.
Yeah.
And he's holding the bottom of it, and she's just viciously attacking him, like saying stuff. It's like, you need to like slow it the fuck down, because if a man was saying this wouldn't be ending well at all.
Right.
And he took the beer cup and just, if this is her nose, smash right into her fucking, and he got annihilated. He got fucking dragged downstairs. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, she deserved it. She deserved, because it wasn't, he didn't punch her, and he didn't do it hard enough that it really would hurt.
Yeah.
He just kind of, and when I say smash, he crushed a plastic cup. It was, you know, we've all done it before. We've crushed plastic cups. It was more of an embarrassment than a pain that was caused there. Now, I don't know which side stepped over the line. The things she was saying to him, she deserved something to happen to her.
Right. He just took it a little extreme.
He should have come prepared with a female to do that.
See, but you don't think of those things.
You really don't. You don't think about your mixed tag partner when you're going to get into this thing.
Right. Exactly.
It's like,
because you don't know. You don't know when you're going to get challenged from the fabulous moolah over there.
And she was just, and I'm sitting like, normally I'd be against that, but she deserved it.
Look,
she was going all game, and being a cunt.
That's one of those things where, because I know going, and again, I've only been to 2 or 3, I think, Bruins games, one of which was the first one I ever went to, which was at when the what was it before? It wasn't the TD Garden, it was whatever it was.
Fleet Center?
Fleet Center. When the Fleet Center opened, I saw a game there. But like, same thing, Patriots, because I've gone to a few Patriots games, and it's the same thing where people are trying to cheer, they're trying to be fans, and you get these other people in the crowd saying, sit down, I paid good money for this, sit down. It's like, to a point, if you want to sit down and you don't want to be a part of the game, stay at home.
Right.
Don't watch it there. That's when you go to the game, you're supposed to act like a fan. However,
you can choose. See, what people don't understand is there's choices you can make. You can choose to sit quietly and watch the game. But you can't tell somebody that's having a good time that they can't have a good time.
They paid for that ticket.
There's a difference, and see, the problem is there's a difference between being an asshole and being a fan. There's a fine line.
There's a very fine line.
But there's a difference. And I think it's like the game I went to in Montreal this weekend was a very great example of walking that fine line.
Right.
Because we were I was yelling at people. That's why, I just got my voice back yesterday.
Yeah.
Like we were supposed to record yesterday, and I couldn't do it because it was still my voice was just shot because I was screaming 3 sections over at a guy, and I was doing the Hulk Hogan fucking ear thing, and getting the Bruins guys riled up. He's getting the Canadiens fans, but we weren't stepping over that line where it's like I'm not making it personal.
Right. You're watching a competition on the ice, but you're also having a competition up there.
Right.
You know, and especially because you're the away team. Yeah. You know, you got to make your presence known in the building, and that's totally understandable.
Especially a weekend, a night game.
Yeah,
you're in a different. Everybody's having a good time.
It's just fun. It's all in fun. But as much as you get riled up,
yeah, you can't push it over that line.
You can't push it over the line, and by pushing it over the line, you can't. Even as funny as it may be in my head, you can't hit a woman.
No, you can't. You can't. But you can't. You can't argue you shouldn't deserve it.
No. You know, sometimes, as you all know, some women can just be bitches.
Yeah.
And
they know.
There's a lot that are they're fantastic. They know that they can get away with it. Yeah.
Exactly what to say to make you just see red.
Right.
Your brain shuts off, and you're like.
You black out, and it's not.
You can't say that to me. My Cro-Magnon instincts are now flipped on. You cannot say that to me without me using my hands to do something.
You black
and that's
out.
why walls get holes in them.
Exactly.
That's why a lot of walls in a lot of homes get holes in them.
And you black out, and it's not because of the 9 beers that you chugged before the game.
It's like it starts with the laundry.
Thing.
It's like you didn't do a laundry day. I know. I'm sorry. Your mother's a cunt. What? What?
Where did that?
You can't fight like that. That's not fair.
Wow, that just escalated.
But you know what I mean?
That's what it is.
It's an extreme example of what they know exactly what to do, you know, and yeah, you got to walk that fine line.
The funny thing is, all those people, the fans that jump on the guy, they jumped on him because that's probably the right thing to do. You
it's an
defend
instinct.
it.
You see a woman get hit.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
An instinct. Even my brother said the same thing. My brother was like. And my brother is probably he's nothing like me.
No, he's
probably
a sweetheart.
The most compassionate person you'll ever meet.
Well, when we were at Night of Champions, when I met him, it's like you and I are being, we're being fans, right. And he's just, he's having a good time, but we're yelling and screaming shit, and he's just. I look down, and it's like, wow, is he enjoying himself? Like, what's he doing over there?
He's a very sweet kid, and he was sitting next to me, and he's just like, I normally I would have done something.
Normally.
That's the phrasing he used.
Yeah.
He's like, normally I probably would have stopped that. Let's go.
Wow.
Normally, he didn't acknowledge. He didn't verbally acknowledge to me that the woman deserved it. He just said, normally I would have done something in that situation.
And you read between the lines.
And I'm like, if he didn't stop that from happening, God wasn't going to stop that from happening.
But that's what I'm saying. Like those guys and the fans that jumped on the guy, at least half of them were thinking the same thing that guy was doing. And they didn't. They know in their minds, like, okay, you can't do that. We understand.
And I think
I would have done it too, but you can't.
I think part of it was also just stopping the situation from getting any further, because they weren't hitting the guy. They just grabbed him and dragged him away.
Yeah.
I mean, they dragged him down a few steps, but it was a balcony section. Pal. It was better than throwing him over a couple of chairs.
Oh, totally.
They just dragged him out on the aisle and got him away from the situation. And it was the game was over.
And
everybody was leaving also.
But you're also helping that guy out too, because if that woman decided to press charges or something, that guy's out of the building.
Right.
And she's like, so
good luck finding him.
Yeah, have fun.
He was one of 16,000.
He was wearing a Bruins jersey. He had a scally cap on. He had a thick Boston accent.
Good luck.
I think his name was Sully. Was it Sully or was it I don't know, Jimbo?
Good luck. Good fucking luck on that one. But yeah, it's a very, very fine line that gets very blurred with alcohol.
If you're going to an event, basically, this is what I'm going with. If you're going to an event, be a fan.
Yeah.
And as a fan, you got responsibilities.
What people don't do.
If you don't want to do it, don't go.
And it's understandable to personalize yourself with the team. I do it all the time. I get very, very passionate and personal and emotional when the team is losing or winning, either way.
Yes, I know. I've been on the losing end of that.
But at the end of the day, it's along the same lines of just you're watching a movie. It's a form of entertainment.
Oh, yeah, of course it is.
And you have to rationalize. It's like, would you ever punch somebody? You know, it's like, it's not worth your time anymore. Especially, I'm getting older. We're getting older.
Well, your right hook probably just doesn't have as much oomph behind it.
I don't want to be. I can't be bothered.
Right.
It's like there's almost nothing you can say to make me get violent anymore. Almost nothing. And I don't know what that thing is that you could say, to be quite honest, because it hasn't been done in many years. But yeah, it's just like I sit there and I'm like, you paid good money. Like these are not cheap tickets. You know, you've downed a dozen $8 beers.
Yeah.
You're gonna get tossed out. We're 10 minutes into the game. It's basically like being thrown out of a movie and they're in the opening credits and not getting a refund. Same fucking policy. You're being tossed out of a form of entertainment.
Right. No, I understand. It's a good analogy in what you're saying. And what you're saying is true. But to me, it's also the same lines as going to a concert, and you go to the concert and have a good time. And yes, maybe like the band. Obviously, if you're going to the concert, you probably like the band. But it's these people that I see these days that they go, you're having a good time, but they don't know. It's that that line, that blurred line of good time and where the fuck am I? I just passed out, dead drunk,
right.
And you just paid however much money to go to this show,
right?
Whatever it is, and it happens at Comcast Center a lot, and
that's because of tailgating.
The tailgating and everything. But it happens at other shows too. These people go ahead, they get trashed, they forget the night,
right?
Or they get kicked out,
sure.
like you were saying, and it's either an argument or it's a stupid fight over this, or it's And I'm not gonna preach about not doing drugs at shows because I've done drugs at shows, but you
wasted a lot of money over stupidity,
over just being a dumbass.
I saw speaking of concerts, there's I don't know who the Yeah Yeah Yeahs. Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
Okay, they're not on my radar, but they posted signs at a recent concert. I don't know if you saw it.
No.
It says, please do not watch the show through a screen on your smart device or camera. Put that shit away as a courtesy to the person behind you and to Nick, Karen, and Brian. I guess that's the band.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Because
there was the concert, the Sandy Relief concert. I remember when they would do the crowd shots.
Oh, yeah.
All you saw was, because they would do the shots from behind people pushing into the stage, all you saw was people watching through their iPads or their iPhones.
And again, that's another form of stupidity when you're going out to a live event.
I don't mind taking a picture, but sitting there the whole show recording it.
But again, and it's not just concerts. It's Bruins games. It's Patriots games. It's Red Sox games. And it's not even filming it or taking pictures. People are sitting there like looking up their fantasy football sports stats, or they're doing.
We're so disconnected.
Or they're email. Yeah,
we're so disconnected
absolutely.
from what we're doing nowadays.
And so you just basically
wasted a lot of money.
You wasted a lot of money to sit on your phone.
Right.
And concerts is one of the worst things because again, you think you're so damn important that, hey, I just paid for the show. Now I'm going to tape the show. Now I'm going to put it up on YouTube because this is where I was. Because you got to brag what your life is.
Sure.
Can you even tell me what the fuck they sang? You know what I mean? One of the last times when I went to see, it was the Black Keys and the Arctic Monkeys who just came around in Boston last year. I'm sitting, and the seats weren't the greatest seats, but a friend of mine gave me the ticket. He had an extra ticket. Hey, absolutely, man. I'll come. I'll buy some beers or whatever. We're up in the balcony, and there I am with just that whole crowd, and it's 20-something-year-old kids, and it's that whole crowd of, look at me, look at this, got to put my phone right here, do this, do that. Yeah. Oh, there's the hit song. We can sing all the lyrics to that because we know that song. And then, all right, we're back to the phone now. Hey, can you take this picture? And then it's, and I'm trying to be a nice guy because I'm not going to be a dick. But it's like, then it's like, hey, will you take a picture with me? Because, you know, I'm sorry, but the mustache thing, it's you got a great mustache. Will you take a picture? And so now it's like, now you're impeding on my good time. Yes, I didn't pay for the ticket, but you don't know that.
We saw a woman at breakfast in Montreal, not to go off topic, but there was a dude sitting at the table, had a big, it was more along the lines of what Dutch has now, or Zeb Coulter has now, but just giant curled up mustache. And he's just sitting there with his family enjoying his breakfast, and a group of college girls, clearly from the States, are walking by. And the last one stops and it's like, oh my God, I love your mustache. I am so into mustaches right now. And she has actually along the lines of what you have there,
the necklace,
the charm thing. And she's like, look what I have. And you could, and he's like an older dude. He's not even a young guy anymore. And he's looking at like, my eggs are getting cold. She's just babbling. And of course, he's just trying to get to the point where it's like, oh, can I take a picture? And of course, and then I can't take a picture of the mustache guy.
And it becomes a big production.
And I'm sitting there like, I'd tell her to just fuck right off. I'd make her hate mustaches after this time.
I would take this plastic cup that I got in my hand.
I would do everything in my power to just make her go away. I don't care if I had to be if I had to go creepy, I'd go creepy.
And I wouldn't go creepy. I wouldn't go creepy. Here. I wouldn't go.
Let me brush off a place for you. Sit down. Here, come on.
Oh, what's that? A peanut butter and banana sandwich? Look out, man! Look out, man!
I just
I don't. Look,
she just ruined his breakfast.
I don't mind it. It's not a big deal, and it does. It's serious. Like, I'm not trying to brag, but it does happen almost once a day. Like
I was
wherever I
wearing the shirt up there,
and people ask about it.
So many, they're just interested. What is that? What is that?
And I have no idea why, because you're not the only one. Because I've given it out as presents to other people,
and explain it. I just go, that's Billy. That's all I said. And they would get so confused.
That's great.
And of course, the strippers are like, well, let's take Billy for a dance. I'm like, you want to sit on Billy.
You really like Billy, don't you now?
Oh, my God. It was hilarious.
So that it gets aggravating, but it's like, in my head, it's like, oh, I'm a pseudo-celebrity. But at the same time, it's like, and
your mustache is a celebrity.
I can understand what that guy's saying or what that guy's feeling. Yeah. It's like, my eggs are getting cold, or like, what the fuck? Like, I'm just... And I understand it,
and there's nothing
wrong. I don't get it the way other celebrities do. Like, no one, actually, no, I can't say that, because just the other day I was down at Patriot Place. It was my mom's birthday. I went to the bathroom, and some guy was in the bathroom, and he goes, "Hey man, that's an awesome mustache." And then next thing you know, he's talking to me about my tattoos. Then he's talking to me about this. Then he's telling me his whole fucking life story about he's just in Afghanistan and all this. And I'm like, oh my God. And I'm trying to find someone to like give the ear tug to and like come and save me. Waiting for the break in conversation. Oh my God. And so, it's time consuming, and it's like, and again, I'm not a celebrity, but I understand what these people go through.
And there's nothing wrong with complimenting somebody. Like, if she walked by and said, oh, that's a really nice mustache, I'm into mustaches.
And I get that more often than not.
But sitting there explaining, it's like...
And then pulling out the camera phone, and then it's like, hey, can we do another one? Can we do this? It's like,
who are you?
I got so many fucking pictures on Facebook that I don't even know.
I'm with my family here.
Why me? Why not?
Are getting cold.
Again, back to the eggs.
I'm having my breakfast here.
But it's those. But to get back to the original point, it's those same types of people. The people that think they're more important, that their lives are so important that they got to let you in on everything. And
sure.
we have fun with the Twitter thing,
we're
and
not much
we tweet, but we're not obnoxious with it. These people. Well, we try just because we're trying to get listeners out there to listen to us on iTunes and Stitcher and Spreaker.
Ding.
We're trying to do it that way, and there's a rhyme and a reason for it. These other people, they're doing it because they think they're celebrities. They think they're adding to it. Again, we're not.
Right.
But they want to be that on that level, and they really are adding nothing to the conversation. So when they're at a concert and they're taping their reaction or they're taping the show, I love, and Dave Grohl is one of them that does it a lot. But there was someone else that I just saw. They came through Boston. Anyway, told the crowd. Oh, I believe it was it was this guy Mayor Hawthorne. You wouldn't. I don't think you know him, but he's like a neo soul type of guy, new soul music. He, before he took the stage, told everyone, "Hey guys, why don't we just make this show about us tonight?
Yeah.
And why don't you put your phones away? And why don't you do this?" And I have such an appreciation for a guy that does that.
Comedians.
Yeah, absolutely, and they should. And now they should. And I think that's a like
it's an infringement thing. Like I've heard a lot of comedians, especially when they're on the radio, talk about trying to get videos of their acts pulled down off YouTube because they'll go to a comedy club and be working out their act. This isn't like they're working towards an HBO special.
It's new material. It's
and
brand new stuff.
They're working out the kinks in their jokes, and some dude's sitting there filming it, and it's like that's going to be up, and it's going to look like shit.
And it's going to sound like shit because it's not. It's a new joke. Maybe the guy wrote it that day and he's just trying it out.
And it's like he's working it out, and a year later it's going to end up on a special. Well, if it's been on YouTube for a year, it's an old joke by the time it's a special.
And it could be a really good joke, and it's a good one that gets the crowd. Thing to do.
So yeah, comedians do that a lot.
And I mean, basically,
Louis, I was at his show and he did it to somebody who was sitting. It was basically just sitting there like this during the show.
You're an asshole to do that.
Like, take a picture.
Who do you think you are?
Down.
Yeah, who do you think you are? Right. You're not the fucking paparazzi. You're not getting paid $75,000 for a picture of Kim Kardashian and her cooch hanging out.
Right.
Like, shut the fuck up, sit down, put your shit away, and enjoy the show.
Right. And I mean, when are you going to rewatch it?
That's the thing. You're telling me, and this is going along the lines. There's a kid I know,
and of course, my pet peeve. They're all holding them like this. By the way,
yeah,
they can't just turn their phone sideways.
No.
They have to hold it like this. It's like I won't watch those anymore.
No.
If somebody sends me a link to a fucking portrait? Is that portrait view?
Yeah, it's a portrait view.
I don't even hit play anymore.
But
I'm done with it. I don't care. It could be the funniest thing ever. I will not hit play.
There's a kid that I know. He's a sweetheart. He means well. But he was at a show at the Garden not too long ago, and here he is, pretty decent seats. I don't think it was front row, but it's on the floor.
Sure.
They were watching Rush, and whether you're a Rush fan or not, whatever, he's there, and he's taping the whole show, and he's just doing it like this. And a mutual friend leans over and he's like, hey man, what are you doing? Why don't you just watch the show? Oh, I can watch the show later on. What do you mean you can watch the show later on? Are you what? Because this is going to be in your role of home movies?
Right.
What are you, fucking nuts? I mean, this is the same type of person who tapes everything on their DVR, which I don't, tape things on your DVR, but it's like they tape everything.
Sure.
But that's besides the point.
Right.
You're taping shit on your phone to watch later on in shit quality.
Now, question: does that phone film in IMAX? Because those stages are pretty fucking big.
They're huge. They're huge. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what whatever wide angle lens you got. It's not filling that stage at all. Right. And besides the fact that you're gonna really like the acoustics of in recording into a phone
sound great.
Oh my! Oh, they're Dolby 5.1. It's digital sound. Oh my God!
They're awesome.
It's like I just want to grab those types of people just by the face and say, you don't fucking get it, do you? You just don't fucking get it. Right. Leave, please leave.
Go away.
It's like I'm taking away your human being card. You are now your phone. That's all you are.
You've lost rights to this world for the next 24 hours. Go home,
please. And it's not that I don't want to live on this planet anymore. I don't want you on this planet anymore.
I'm trying to help.
I'm done with saying that I don't want to be here. I want to be here.
Right.
You get the fuck out. Venting.
It's so good though. That's
I'm feeling awake.
Right?
I'm gonna be passed out after this, but I'm feeling awake now.
It's a good little jolt to the system.
Full of hatred.
Speaking of concerts, we not only do we have a few
coming at you, ha!
We got man coming to the area. There's a couple of bands, two in particular, that are really kind of doing cool things for the fans.
Well, and you told me about this, and there was bands doing this before a few years ago. 9 Inch Nails, I know, was one of them.
Yeah.
But go on. I want you to break the story.
Well, the first one I saw was Kid Rock.
Yeah.
He's got a summer tour coming. One of them's going to be out at the Comcast Center.
That man, ever since James Brown died, he has just taken on the moniker, and I'm not a huge Kid Rock fan, as the hardest working man in he tours every fucking year.
Right.
It's unbelievable.
He's keeping Skinner and ZZ Top in business too.
Absolutely.
He brings because he does. He brings them along. This year he's got ZZ Top, Kool and the Gang, and Uncle Cracker touring with him.
Shit.
And what he's doing is he worked out a deal with Live Nation to make all the tickets to his summer tour $20.
Wow.
$20. And on top of that, his people are apparently working to lower the prices on beer, parking, and merchandise at every show.
So, Kid Rock for Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah. He said, and his quote was, we're all fortunate to make as much money as we do, and I can surely take a pay cut to help out in these hard times. We're gonna make less money, but I've got enough money to where it's not going to kill my lifestyle.
Well, first off...
And who doesn't love playing to a packed house every night was his final quote.
First off, great.
Yep.
Secondly, obviously he's got to be a pretty smart man.
Yep.
You know, and again, Kid Rock, I'm thinking when I had first heard Kid Rock, it was Bull God and Ba with the Ba and all that stuff. And it's like, that's the same guy now who is doing duets with Sheryl Crow, and he's in the country thing now, and he's doing and he's got platinum albums, and it's like, obviously he was smart with his money. He wasn't an idiot.
He's a definition of those Time Life infomercials. Every rocker has a soft side.
It's like, now coming out,
he went from
ballads.
Ba with the Ba to like Born Free. And it's complete polar opposites.
But again, he's smart. He capitalized.
He's reinventing himself.
Look at the crossover appeal. I mean, you had the hard rock guys, you had the rap guys, then you had your country people, you had your pop people, you had everything. He cornered the market on everything. Yep. It's smart, absolutely smart, and bless him for what he's doing. That's great. Be a crusader.
Although there is one part he said he's not happy about. Despite the cheap face values, you still have to pay Ticketmaster a $5 service fee, which Kid Rock said he's not happy about. His quote was, "That's 25% of my ticket price. That's ridiculous. I think they should go to a 10% a ticket across the board as opposed to 25. So if ticket.
Wait, but I thought you said Live Nation had it first.
Fuck. I'm just reading.
Oh, okay, all right. Because usually they don't share it unless it's different venues.
Maybe it's just a bad quote. Maybe it's just wrong.
No, it could be. They could just be doing different venues as well.
But either way, he's trying to also, I guess, trying to get the service charges lowered.
Well, why not? Are you kidding me? Those service charges are bullshit.
He said once you're there, 12-ounce beers, he's going to try to make them $4 per venue.
Well, hey.
He said, which is fair.
Hey, you could try to part the Red Sea, but I don't know if that's you could do this and open your hands as many times. I don't know if it's really going to happen.
And he said he's dropping his T-shirts from $35 to $40 down to $20 to $25. Hey,
if he does it, that's really. I don't know if everyone on the tour is going to drop their T-shirts down.
I don't know,
but if he does it, and hey. All power to him. If he wants to do that, that's really great, and I hope a lot of other people follow along in his footsteps, because there's a lot of guys out there, especially a few bands that are coming to this area that should be doing it.
I think it's absolutely great. And he's like, for under $70, you can get yourself a T-shirt, some beers, and see a great show, and get parking.
And you know what? And from everything that I've heard, and again, never seen him in concert, but I heard he puts on a great show, and so. To do that, and
he's coming with ZZ Top and Kool in the fucking game.
And what a ridiculous show that is.
Seriously.
Like, you got the classic rock. He does a little bit of classic rock. He does the country. He does, his hard rock stuff. Yeah. And then you got Kool in the Gang.
Kool in the Gang.
Who the last time we saw came through with Van Halen. So they're
just jumping on.
It's very weird, but I'm glad that Kool in the Gang is getting some work other than from Tarantino.
Good for them, still working. The other one was the Stones. So
the Stones are doing it too, because the tickets for the Stones.
They're not doing the same thing. They're not lowering them across the board.
Right.
No, God, no. It's the Stones. Come on now. Let's see. The regular tickets. Here's the Stones, what they're doing. It is a nice give back, though.
Ronnie's got to eat, man.
It is a nice give back, what they're doing. The tickets are going to range from $150 to $600 plus service charges per show.
$600.
However.
$600.
However, every show will include, it says over 1,000 tickets per show, set at $85 a piece. And what their thing is they're trying to cut down on scalping. So,
that right there is one of the number one problems.
But here's what they're going to do. We'll be using strict anti-scalping measures to ensure that these $85 tickets go to Stones fans and don't end up on the resale market with widely inflated prices. We appreciate your attention for the following, blah, 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 blah. And here's the rules. When you buy the $85 tickets, you must pick up the tickets in person along with your guest. Once you have the tickets in hand, you will be escorted into the arena and not allowed to leave the arena before the show goes on.
So they're really taking the extra.
Picture ID, confirmation number, credit card used to purchase, all required at pickup. And once you get your tickets, they're coming to the Garden in what, June?
June 12th.
So if you got this $85 ticket, you'd show up at Will Call at the Garden, get your ticket, and you'd be escorted right into the arena, and you wouldn't be allowed to leave.
Smart.
Fucking smart.
Well, because and what I was getting at was 9 Inch Nails had done that not too long ago. And when they printed out,
there's just no way to get around service charges.
When they printed out the tickets had like an ID number for you and your name on the ticket.
Yeah.
And you had to show your ID.
That's cool.
Like, but the funny thing is they, and yes, you should be against the scalpers. You should try to cut out the scalpers because they're inflating. Obviously, they're inflating the ticket prices, and they don't give a shit about the show.
Ridiculous. The aftermarket ticket prices.
But the worst scalpers of them all are Live Nation and Ticketmaster.
Although the service charges are asinine.
They're ridiculous.
Like even
what service did you supply me?
We had that's the worst part is you never like
you printed my ticket.
I almost back in the day gave him a pass when you had to call and speak to a person. Like I go back that far.
But I would understand a service charge because I spoke to a person.
There's a person on the other line. Now you're just fucking clicking refresh on your computer.
I click refresh. You gave me. I solved the fucking Rubik's Cube of a captcha that you just put up there.
They're terrible.
And then waited in virtual line for 15 minutes.
Yep.
When I signed on right as the clock turned 10 o'clock, and somehow I have balcony seats.
That's
because they sold all the fucking good tickets to the corporations or whatever. It's all a scam.
That's one of the things going back to the Canadiens game that I went to in Saturday. One of the things with their tickets is the Canadiens organization holds their tickets. They don't go through a Ticketmaster. They don't go through anything. You go to Canadiens.com, wait on their thing on the day it goes on sale. Problem is, if you don't get tickets the day they go on sale, literally 24 hours later, they'll be sold out and they'll be triple the value. So, and I've done it. I mean, those the $50 tickets. I one time, me and Denise went up, and we decided late to go up, and we didn't wait online for the day they went on sale, and we had to buy them third party. We went through like StubHub or one of them. It was like I think $150 per ticket.
Ugh.
It's literally triple the value, and what happened was, I was there. They went on sale at 10 a.m. I was sitting on my computer at 10 a.m. in the virtual waiting room, waiting for, and you never, and
the coffee is just so bad in the virtual waiting room. It really
is, and there's no conversation. Nobody wants to talk to you.
And it's like, what, no croissants? What the fuck?
And I still got, and for the Saturday, I still got separated seats for me and Lou.
Really?
Couldn't get two seats together. I mean, granted, he was in the same row, just 4 seats down, so we got everybody to just shift over one.
That was nice.
But it's like
those damn Canadians are so polite.
They're so polite. I love them.
So friendly.
But
get us to.
But it's like I was there at 10 a.m. I was there, earlier, but I was hitting refresh until the thing opened up, and it's like, really?
Yeah.
They just, and they go so fast and they're so fucking ridiculous. But yeah, the one I was thinking of, the service charges was last night. SmackDown was at the Garden, and they had been running ads on TV, tickets starting at $20, and there were some $20 seats left.
Yeah.
Grant balcony seats, but whatever. If you're going to pay $20, you expect to be in the balcony. It's something.
It's okay because you can zoom in on your phone.
Exactly. You mentally prepare that. But the service charge made the tickets almost $50.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
what's the deal there?
I'm like, it's
like literally, what's the deal? There is no deal.
Like I was sitting there. I'm like, well, we didn't get tickets to the station, so I'm literally thinking, okay, I'll look online. They say they got $20 seats. I accept the service charge. If I have to pay $25, maybe $30, it's worth a night out.
$50?
Almost $50 for service charges. They were $20 seats. That was the price of the ticket, and I almost had to pay $50. So it was almost 100% markup.
That's absurd.
It was fucking.
That's robbery.
Ridiculous.
It's robbery.
And yeah, it's just
it's bum fluffery.
It really is. It's all the bum fluffery's about. But
wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard some horror stories of those inflated prices, but that's
silly. And the funny thing is
and Ticketmaster's a big one with that too.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, the cheaper the tickets, it seems like the more of a ripoff it seems like, because a lot of them have just standard flat rates. It's like, well, it's a $20 service charge. It's a $10 ticket.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's some of them do percentages, but some of them have just flat rate service charges.
Maybe because technically those really good seats are actually $20 seats, but it's just such an inflated charge.
Right.
But that's but you know,
it's upsetting is what it is.
But it just going on just ticket prices itself. Like, look, I understand there was a time where you could go see a band like a Rolling Stones or a Led Zeppelin for $3.50. That was the ticket price back in those days.
Sure.
I understand that production values and crews are much bigger now, and so you got to pay for that stuff. But to charge someone like, say, Aerosmith, who is coming to Foxwoods in August or July or August.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's July 13th.
It's a good week. That's a good week for classic rock. Stones at the Garden and Aerosmith up in Foxwoods.
Stones in June.
Did you say July?
And then July. I think it's July. But to charge, especially for Aerosmith, to charge between $175 and $300 for a ticket down at Foxwoods.
Yeah.
Where, you're spending money you probably to get a room, and then you're spending money to see the show, and gas money to drive from anyone from who's up here. Yeah. And plus the fact that if you're having drinks and you take your date or something, or you go out for dinner beforehand, you know what I mean? It's like $300, really? The amount of touring you guys have done in the last 40 years and the amount of money that you've had the last however many years, you really needed to charge between $175 and $300. Yeah. It's as if they looked at the Stones coming out and saying, "Oh, we could do better than that." Or like McCartney at Fenway.
Yeah.
Absurd.
See, and I think
and it's sold out.
And I almost there's a point where I almost could I can't, but almost could justify like the Stones prices, because they're not out every year.
They're not.
There's a good chance you're going to see that Aerosmith's going to come around next year also.
Right.
They're out. They were here last year.
Well, that was a free concert.
That's right. When did they do Fenway with Jake House?
2 years ago.
Okay, so there it is.
But still, it was within the last 4 years.
They come around. So it's like the Stones you see every 10 years or so,
something like that. And
I think it was like 6 or 7 years.
And I'm sure they're gonna have a big production for this because it's the 51 years and counting, or 50 years and counting, because it's the 51st anniversary of the Stones.
And see, I would justify it.
But the Stones are the biggest fucking band in the world.
I would justify it because I'm not one of those that goes to every show.
Right.
This would be the only time I'm going to see the Stones in my life.
Oh, same here. So if I do go to that show,
if I'm at the show, it's probably going to be the only. It's like I went to a Bob Dylan show.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Bob Dylan. I'm not. I'll be honest about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I was going. Lou was actually with me, and he's like, he had the tickets. He's like, I got an extra ticket. You want to go to Bob Dylan? I'm like, He's like, when are you going to see him again in your life? You can say you saw Bob Dylan.
No, and
I'm like, you know what? That's a good fucking thing. I can now say I've seen Bob Dylan.
Yeah, and that's the way I thought of it too, because I've actually been offered Dylan tickets a bunch of times.
Right.
For me, and I do like Bob Dylan, but it's a different guy, Yeah. He ain't the Dylan from the 60s.
Right.
He's certainly not from the 70s or 80s. He's Bob Dylan.
He's very
You know what I mean? So it's like I kind of don't want to ruin that. I'd rather just watch old videos or whatever, or listen to old recordings. But to your point, yeah, it's the Stones. How often do they come around? Aerosmith, yes, you're right. Paul McCartney, it's like if he doesn't come around live to your town,
mm-hmm.
He's on television like every year.
Yeah.
Because award show, because let's face it, the music that's coming out today, some of the stuff that they put out there as the hit music doesn't even hold a candle to what was happening 10 years ago, certainly 15 years ago, and definitely not 25, 30 years ago. You know, so they got to bring out. It's like they wheel out Paul McCartney. Paul, come save us, please. And he's just so cordial about it. Oh, fine.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So it's like, and Paul, you know what you're going to get with him. You're going to get Beatles tunes. You're going to get a few Wings tunes.
Right.
And then he'll play something just kind of out there, like just a standard rock and roll song. But you're telling me, like, Paul McCartney, who I think was here not too long ago. I think he played Fenway like 4 years ago.
Yeah, it wasn't long at all.
And he sold out then too.
Of course.
And it's like,
well, of course he did.
It's, you know, it's Paul, but it's like, you still have the galls, and I blame this someone on the Fenway group and the Red Sox ownership as well. Yeah. The guy's putting it on. Like, I saw tickets something like $2,800.
Yeah, that's a lot to do with Fenway. And the problem is,
you better be able to have dinner with Paul and then get in the dressing room, and then he better give you a hand job or something. Like,
there was a time where playing Fenway was special, and it's just not anymore.
No, because now they'll get anyone in there.
Now it's a regular venue. I remember when they first. I think he might have been the first.
He might have been the first.
It was. I think it was either him or Bruce that was the first.
It was either because Bruce. It was either him or Dave Matthews.
See that?
Something like that. It was.
But it's like I remember.
Yeah, you're right.
I remember the first time somebody played Fenway. It was a big deal, and they were very specific. They're like, we're only going to let certain people play, and you might see one every 4 years or something like that. And then all of a sudden, it's like, and no offense to the people who have played Fenway, but it's like you got fucking 98 Degrees playing, and the new kids, and it's like, and granted, it's a lot of Boston bands that play there, which is special for them. Mm-hmm. But it's just like, it's lost its specialness for me. It's
yeah, no.
The fact that they're playing Fenway is they're just playing another venue.
Well, plus the fact that you have,
and now it's outdoors. And now it's outdoors. So if it's not a great night, it's going to mildly annoy me. I mean, coming from a music person, the sight lines aren't great. The acoustics are kind of shitty.
The acoustics suck, and whatever. But it's like the. I remember someone saying when the Red Sox won the second World Series.
Yep.
A dad said to his kid, hey, wake up, Jimmy, the Sox won. The Sox won the World Series. And, the kid goes, again? You know what I mean? And so now it's like, hey, to make it to your point, it's like, hey, Paul McCartney's playing Fenway Park. It's like, again? Or right. It's like, hey, they're doing an awesome concert at Fenway Park. Again? This year it's Paul. Sir Paul's playing, and Jay-Z and Timberlake.
Oh, they're doing that too?
I believe they're also on there. So now you got 2 concerts at Fenway Park this year.
Right.
I think last year they did 2 as well. I think it was the New Kids one, and I think there was another one.
Dropkicks played.
Okay, so the Dropkicks played last year.
I believe so.
So it's like, and it was Springsteen the year before, something like that.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Giles.
So it's like,
there's
so many.
Which is fine, but don't try to blow smoke up my ass that it's like
it's not
playing Fenway is the greatest thing. It's like,
and it's not a special thing, and that which certainly means it's happening a lot more. So you don't have to pay. I shouldn't have to pay $2,800 to see something there.
Right. This isn't the one show you're showing for the next 4 years, so you don't need the revenue of $400 seats.
And oh, by the way, you have a baseball team that plays here on the regular.
Yeah, that supposedly sells out every game for the last 4,700 years or something like that.
That ended today.
Oh,
today it ended.
Officially? Even though it ended 2 years ago?
Yes, but I believe it.
They've been playing for an empty building for like 2 years, and now they're officially going to acknowledge that? Great.
Maybe if we just don't show that side and that side.
It's like the Phoenix Coyotes saying they've been having sellouts.
But, you have a baseball team that plays there that generates revenue.
Right.
You bring in, because they tried to do it, I think last year, you brought in a soccer team to play there.
They do the soccer. Well, that's Henry also. He owns a soccer team.
You brought in the Winter Classic. You also played the Bean Pot.
They do the Frozen Four every year now.
There. They're saying that they're going to bring the Bean Pot back. They're going to bring the Winter Classic back here.
I don't think they're going to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, but you know what? Spoke too soon. They were going to bring the Winter Classic back here, but they were thinking about playing at Foxborough.
Yeah, that would make more sense.
But still, you have a lot of things going in that park. A fucking concert isn't as big a deal as it would have been 10, 20 years ago.
And even
20 years ago.
Even to the Winter Classic point, It was special the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It looked great. Everything went wonderfully.
We got a picture downstairs, and you see the Bruins bench, and I believe the Monsters behind them.
It looked awesome,
really cool,
and it was special the first time. The second time around, it's like you've already done this.
Well, and that's why I think that they're going to try to do it at Foxborough.
And I would imagine the league looks at it like that too, because they were showing, because they just announced that
Detroit and
Toronto, which was supposed to be played this year, but the lockout. It's same building, same place, the big house in Michigan, and they showed the over the years the attendance, and Fenway's the smallest.
Well,
they're anticipating over 100,000 people in the big house.
Because
ours is only 38.
But you can't fit anyone in there.
Right.
And
I'm sure that's what they're looking at.
They could fit more if they allowed the people on the field.
Right.
But they would never do that. So that's why that's mostly why they're going to do it at Foxborough.
We had 38 and Wrigley had 42, and it's like, okay, the attendance is much lower than the 70, 80,000 you're getting for the football stadiums. But those the first time you go there, it has that special appeal to it. It's Wrigley's Field. It's Fenway Park. They're icons. But once it's done, don't try to recreate that magic that you had then, because people are going to be like, okay, another video package about Fenway Park's history. We saw this how many years ago?
But
it's 15 minutes. Can we get to the fucking game?
You also have the certain danger that and it's going to happen, that you're going to run into. Well, this isn't as fun as it was last time. You know what I mean? And you're going to get a lot of people shitting on it. And you're going to get a lot of bad...
What, if they go to...
If they did it again.
The same place twice?
I'm just saying the same place twice, the repeat.
Yeah, and that happens. I mean, that's kind of... People get comfortable with things.
There's no place in the Garden when you go to a Bruins game or you go to a Sox game. There's no actual designated place where the super fans sit. You know what I mean?
Not really, yeah.
Like the end zone
there used to be in the old Garden.
In the old Garden, yeah. But I'm saying, like, in Cleveland,
right?
They they're in the one end zone. In Oakland, they're in that
That's
one red zone.
That's because it's very much a business now. They don't give a shit.
They don't care.
They don't care.
And they haven't cared about fans in a long time. A lot of these places.
It's very much, if we're not gonna. It's not like we're gonna hold your seats for you.
No.
If this college kid wants to sit here, he's gonna get the ticket.
Oh yeah. And that's the other thing that really gets me is like, you order a ticket from the ticket provider,
right?
And it's never happened to me, but I've heard the horror stories. You order the ticket from the ticket provider, so you're getting it from Ticketmaster, you're getting it from Live Nation, or you're getting it from the Bruins or the Sox, and you get to the venue and you give them your ticket and it says, oh, I'm sorry, it says you've already checked in, or this ticket isn't valid.
I have a story for that.
How does that happen? I got this from you, and there's someone in my seat right now that I paid for because they don't give a shit. They just want your money.
I don't know. Back in late 90s was the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
It was going to be, they were doing Raw, and I think they might have been already doing SmackDown at this point, and they were back to back. One was in the Garden, one was in Worcester. And I had tickets to both of them. And I was at Raw, and this was before they were scanning tickets. They were tearing them.
Yeah.
I had tickets to both, and Raw was in Worcester, and I walk in, and I give the guy my ticket. He rips it, and walking in. Looking at my number, I'm like, I don't see this section anywhere. I'm walking. I ask an usher. He's like, oh yeah, it's down there, and he sent me down to the floor. I'm like, I didn't buy floor seats. So I'm walking. I'm looking around. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I give it to another usher, and he's like, this isn't for here, and it says tomorrow. I used the ticket for tomorrow night, and I walked in.
Weird.
And I'm like, oh shit, well, he's like, well, you can't stay. So he's escorting me out. I'm like, but I went to my car. Luckily, I had the ticket in my car. Luckily, I didn't bring the ticket from home. I had them both in my car. I ran out to the parking lot, grabbed the other ticket, and went in, and everything worked out fine. Monday night.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
That had to have been a headache.
It was such a discussion. I had to basically lie. I'm like, oh yeah, I've already been in. and I had to go out. And I forgot my jacket or something.
Yeah, that guy over there said it was okay.
And they're like, well, you're not allowed to. There's no reentry. It says it right on the ticket. I'm like, yeah, but I just did it. I walked out and he said it was okay. Blah blah blah. And it was such bad noise for about 15 minutes before I was actually able to get in. And I'm just like, but Monday night, I'm like, I could have just gotten in for free to 2 shows.
Yeah.
You know, I could have paid for one and gone to another one without any problem if I just stood like in back or seat jumped.
Yeah, if you were a seat filler that night. Because I'm sure it wasn't sold out.
I did it on purpose, you know, and it was like, holy shit, how did I just get away? Like processing, I'm like, I just got into a building for a different show. But now, of course, they scan tickets, so it's kind of a little bit harder. That wouldn't fly now, but
see, that's what
kids don't do it.
But see, that's what I don't understand. Like, I understand it if you're getting off a scalper, because scalpers obviously just, and especially with the email tickets,
they're terrible.
They're just copying them and shipping them out, and it's basically first come first serve. Whoever gets to that seat first, you know, gets it. But it's like, how is it that you're getting it from the ticket provider? You know?
I mean, that's probably just a mistake. It's just.
I hope it's a mistake and not some fucking clamor for money.
What, from the actual ticket provider?
From the actual ticket provider. I can't imagine
that they're giving counterfeit tickets.
Oh,
because that's what you're saying, right?
Honestly, I wouldn't
the tickets
put it past
don't work.
Them. Yeah, I wouldn't put it past them.
Ticketmaster's counterfeiting tickets. I can't imagine that. That would be terrible for business.
It would be, but you know what? And they got no problem charging 20 to 50% service charge.
No, absolutely not. But they're doing that up front. Because the only way as a business you could justify doing counterfeit tickets is if you did it in mass quantities. They'd have to put out a couple hundred to a couple thousand counterfeit tickets. They'd get caught. They'd get burned real quick, and they would not be in business.
I'm just not going to be surprised by anything in this world.
I can't imagine they would be in business. I can't imagine that.
And they've been sued countless times already.
Right.
And they just settle out of court. Because you know what? There's only 2 providers of tickets in this whole country, and it's those 2.
Yeah. It's a bummer.
It's only those 2.
Those 2?
Those 2. The
Live
Chinese
Nation,
and the King.
Ticketmaster.
Live Nation, Ticketmaster.
One of them's me.
One of them's me.
Look out, man!
Look out, man! Oh.
I think that's it.
That's it.
All right. That was episode 21 of the Mike and Billy Show.
Look out, man!
Look out, man! And thank you all for listening on whichever way you listen, iTunes, Stitcher, Spreaker. Thank you.
Thank you all for the follows. For those of you who
Twitter's been blowing up.
Twitter,
and I wanted especially we posted the Paul Heyman interview on YouTube, and I mean, we know. Thank you WrestleMania for happening this weekend because we went viral. Cool. And I've never gone viral, and it was very cool to go viral.
I went viral once back in '93.
And you got a shot?
Yeah.
You told me you had TB and you were cured.
TB.
And but we had over 83,000.
It was really cool.
Views on the Paul Heyman interview on YouTube,
and
it was very cool.
And obviously, it wasn't just for us. It was all for Paul.
I'd like to think it was me.
I know. Well, when I sit,
it was me.
When I sit in my bed late at night and trying to cheer myself up. I think it was all for me. It's me. It's me. Right in front of the mirror.
Punch yourself to sleep.
Come on, man. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
So thank you very much, everyone.
And if you haven't followed us, follow us on Twitter. It's it's at Mike and Billy. And on Facebook.com, it's Facebook.com/Mike and Billy Show. Our personal sites are all on there as well. You can follow us. You can, by all means, leave us comments, whatever you want to do. Tell us how wonderful we are, because we know you love us as we love you.
Ask for maybe we'll design a thing where I can send these out now, and I'll take a picture with me and my hand around someone, my arm around someone else, and we'll just have a cutout face.
We'll make a Billy Photoshop.
Yes.
So if you can stop bothering Billy in public to take pictures of his mustache. Just go to the Mike and Billy Facebook page.
I just want to eat my eggs over hammy. What is it? Moon over my hammy?
Eggs over my hammy.
I just want to, just let me eat my pulled pork sandwich and get my blowjob in peace. So, but thank you everyone out there for listening and
absolutely
everything.
Absolutely. Thank you all, and we will see you back here next week for episode 22 of the Mike and Billy Show.
Get out, everybody!
Look out, man!